All right, we are live. What's up again, everybody? This is episode 13 of the Adaptive Podcast. We are Adaptive Jiu-Jitsu. I am Len. I'm here with Eli and Ed. And we have a great show for you this week. Again, it has been 13 short weeks together. Thank you so much for supporting us. We have a great show for you tonight. We're going to have hopefully a guest on tonight. We're going to talk about some of the upcoming UFC fights and, of course, continue with our jiu-jitsu conversations, experiences, and philosophies, points of view, and whatnot. So with that, we will be right back after this. Yeah, stretch it out, Eli. Stretch it out.
Oh, sore.
Thank you guys again for joining us to episode 13 of the Adaptive Podcast. Like we didn't mention before, you can check all of our gear out at adaptivejujitsu.com. Follow us at Adaptive Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram. Check out our gear, our videos. We have a lot of cool stuff coming for you. We work really hard to put stuff, curate great content for you guys every single week, as well as test out and produce awesome products to help you in your training journey during jiu-jitsu and, of course, other martial arts. We are not just focused our gear to jiu-jitsu. The podcast would not be possible without Radji Barrett Jiu-Jitsu Academy at 540 New Brunswick Avenue in Fords. If you're cool, you can train here. That's why we train there, because we're fucking cool as shit. All right.
Not arrogant at all. No. Not in the slightest.
Check Radji out at Radji Barrett Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram and RadjiBarrettJiu-Jitsu.com. Check out his schedule, his gear. Come train with the Adaptive guys. Learn the Radji Barrett Jiu-Jitsu way. And with that, you guys ready to get started?
Hell yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
I think our dude is too. Just got a text from him.
Yes. All right. So we have a confirmed guest today, someone that you have seen featured in our podcast before. It is Shloke. He has been a training partner of ours for many, many years. We don't have enough great things to say about the guy, but he's going to be on with us today and talk about some of his recent experiences.
Yeah, so you get to decide.
If you get to decide his moral character.
That's great.
We have some comments already. Oh, hi, Dada, from Colin, which is my 7-month-old son.
Nice.
Already knows how to type on a laptop.
That's bro.
Wow.
Prodigy.
That's incredible.
Wow.
I hate just tossing that word around, but prodigy, that's arm bars, no time.
Very awesome. So yeah, that's great. How long do we need for our guest? Confirmed?
He's here.
Confirmed.
Ready to go.
He's backstage. He's
ready to go.
Yeah, I need to scroll down a little bit. So, all right. Eli, you want to preface this?
Yeah. So, we wanted to bring our family Shloke on the show tonight. After his belt promotion, we wanted to kind of pick his brain, reflect a little bit on his journey and whatnot. So let's
big congrats to that guy.
Let's add him to the stream here.
There he is.
What's
hey
up?
guys.
What's up, Shloke?
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
You on
How's
mute?
that going?
I don't hear him. That's the wrong one.
How about now?
Yeah, we hear you
Perfect.
now.
There we go.
How about
Yeah,
meow?
you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
What's up, bud?
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
I have AirPods in, so my mic isn't as good, unfortunately. But what's up, guys?
No, you sound great, man.
Yeah, you sound fine,
Okay.
bro. Awesome,
What's up?
man.
How are you guys doing?
Good, man. You?
Cool. I'm doing good, man. I just got done working outside. Me and my dad are like installing some fences, and now I'm just having a beer. And that's
Nice.
pretty much what we've been doing all day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
bro.
Yeah.
I love that.
cheers, bro.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
dude, I jumped in the shower like super quick, and I was like, okay, I gotta do this really quick. And my laptop was updating, so I had to like fire up my iPad just to get in here. Oh, what's up? I'm
Nice,
here now,
man.
so, yeah.
So congratulations on your promotion, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah, man.
it.
Well
Couldn't have
deserved.
done it without you guys. Thank you, man.
Definitely, bro. So
Yeah.
I got a couple questions for you here. So the first question is when did you start And what were your first impressions of jiu-jitsu?
So Eddie and Lenny know the answer to that question. I think I started when I was 16, going into 17 years old. So I'm 24 now. So
It was like 2015.
yeah, probably right, like 7 years ago. So
Yeah, that was like 2015.
yeah, 2015. Yeah,
Yeah.
2015. Because when
Yeah,
did you guys start?
In the last podcast, we are not mathematicians.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying
We
to
can't
figure-
even do basic singular number year
Yeah.
subtraction here. But
Yeah.
it's been a while.
or
Matt time-
articulate it.
Matt time is a
Yeah.
crazy thing, bro.
Yeah, because Eddie and Lenny were in, I think, like, if not at least a year, at least like 2 years before me, right? So,
I mean, maybe over a year and a half.
Were we already blue belts when they came
We were
in?
blue belts.
I think we were. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least. Well, yeah. So it took me almost 2 years to get there. Eddie got
Yeah.
about a year, right? So
Yeah, under you.
yeah.
yeah, so I think I started a year and a half point, like, after you guys started. So I remember Radji's was like, it was already picking up some steam when I was in there. There was like some brown belts in there. I think, I don't think there was any black belts because Radji was still a brown belt at the time. So it was just it was like a brown belt led school, and then after I was training, I remember Radji got his black belt like a year later on, and then like we started having some black belts. So yeah, that's when I started, like 2015.
Yeah.
So what were your first impressions of jiu-jitsu?
Well, like I knew what it was because by the time like I started training, I was like 13 years old, right? And MMA was already pretty mainstream. And I had a friend, and he was really into it. And he saw, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Never Back Down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he saw Never Back Down, and he just ordered like a bunch of like sparring gear, and we just put on gloves and like started sparring in his basement. And like eventually, I was like, yeah, like I kind of actually want to get good at this shit instead of just doing it in the basement all the time, you know?
That's awesome.
So
Dude, when we were younger, we used to box in our buddy Ryan, who used to train with us for a little bit. We used to box in his basement, like
Yeah.
during our high school years. That's cool. You got like a similar thing, but
wait,
took
so
us.
like,
What happened?
yeah, like all three of you guys would just box in the house? Or?
There's a bunch of us. All
It
of
was,
us.
it was a lot more than 3.
Yeah,
It was pretty
yeah.
reckless.
Yeah.
It was super reckless.
Yeah.
Yo, all right. This just reminded me of the.
But it's funny, but think about this, the parallels. He was like, nah, I'm done. He went straight in high school. It took us like 10 years
Yeah.
to be like, yo, you guys want to go train some martial arts? Like, that's
yeah.
but
Well, like it's because all my friends were bigger than me, dude, and I was just like, I was like, yeah, I got to figure some shit out, or it's not gonna go well, So I had to. Mm-hmm.
So it was 2000. Back to the mathematician.
Yeah.
So it's 2015 that you started. So that's 7 years it took you to get to your brown belt.
Yeah, so 2015 at Radji's, and then I did do some MMA at like an MMA academy, but it wasn't like anything super serious. Like I wasn't super technical. It was like a lot of kickboxing, and the coach was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and we would train with him at his place. And like he was pretty good, like solid guy at MMA. He was like a smaller guy. He was like a 125 pounder, like amateur fighter. So we would train with him like all the time. But yeah, eventually it was just like finding the closest place. Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it was that place ended up closing down, but figured it out.
me and Lenny would literally train in his basement. we have like a half a mat. Like the rest was concrete.
And what?
Or
Yeah.
It was like
like-
those little puzzle mats. It's
Yeah.
like the little,
Yeah,
like for a toddler.
Yeah.
that's what we had too. Yeah.
Because they weigh 10 pounds.
Yeah. And the force.
Would you guys spar and shit too, or just
When we were younger,
Yeah.
yeah?
now we got older.
Okay.
And it was more like boxing. It wasn't like.
Yeah, it was no kicking or anything like that.
No. It had. There's a movie.
We were inspired by this movie.
But never back down. yeah. Yeah.
Is that D Reynolds in the back?
Who?
D.
No,
Sweet
sorry.
D.
Sweet
no,
D.
she was never that good looking.
That's Amber Heard. That's
Yeah.
Amber Heard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I remember
She's
that.
crazy.
She looks like don't talk bad about her.
Yeah.
Or she'll bring you to court.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
beat up Johnny Depp.
She was.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Yeah.
I feel bad for that guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
dude, right? Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's,
But yeah, man, that's how we got started. It wasn't even like mine and Chevelle's idea. Like Chevelle was like really into girls at the time. And me and my friend were like kind of the violent ones, and we would be like training at home, and Chevelle would be like, "No, like I'm going to the mall with all these girls and shit." And we were just like, "Oh, like, they're like, you don't want to train? Like, what's up with that?" And like he would just, he would bail on us.
I mean,
And yeah,
He would just go to malls and beat people up.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
I was at the training though.
yeah.
You wanted
He
to
would
beat
You were there for that, right?
Yeah. Well, I know I wasn't there. I wasn't there when that happened. So,
Oh,
we're
okay.
talking about the story where he fought the guy at the mall, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I guess. Should we tell it now, or should we wait for him one day?
He's on. He's watching.
Well,
Well,
he's
yeah,
watching.
he's on, and right before we get into that, let's give a shout out to everyone who's tuning in. We got a great turnout tonight. We got Kuchia, what up, creeps? Phil, what's up,
Phil?
boys?
What's happening?
So,
We got Renita. Congrats to Shloke. Thanks for joining us,
thank you.
Renita. The hottest of Neils is
Thank you.
here,
Oh, Neil,
proclaiming
my
his
man.
true hero. True hero. We got Jack also.
Yo.
Congrats to Jack for recently
Hell
getting
yeah.
promoted to his
Jack
blue
got-
belt.
yeah.
Congratulations,
Congrats,
man.
That's
Well
awesome.
deserved, my friend. Well studied.
He's a beast.
And the other half of the twins here, Mr. Cheville.
Chevelle,
Speak
come
of the
on.
devil.
Chevelle, really?
mhm.
Goated
Yeah.
movie?
Go
What
to
does that
movie.
mean?
I think he's trying to say it's the greatest of all times. Like one of those.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That word just gets thrown around
Goated?
too easy.
I'm sure it's nostalgic for them.
Yeah.
Go rewatch that movie. You'd be like, what the fuck?
What year did
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie come out?
2000, what, 8, 9?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
How do I know?
2008.
Why do I know that?
Because it's your favorite.
Yeah. You guys have all seen it, right? You guys have all
I
I don't think I've seen the
Unfortunately,
movie.
I have, and it's not that good. I've only seen it once.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen it.
But like when you're like
I've just
12
got a
or
question.
13,
Yeah,
whatever,
dude.
like you're into like you see some violence, you're like, yo, that's the movie, like
Mhm.
whatever. I had no taste like back then. I don't have much
Don't go
taste
by
now
me.
either, but
Don't go by me. I'm super overcritical
So-
of movies. So
Yeah.
So Shloke, we got a question here from Neil. He wants to know
Hot Neil.
who's better. Yeah, hot Neil. Who's better, you or Chevelle?
I don't know. Do you guys want me to like blow it off with like a funny answer, or do we want like a real answer? Like,
I mean, maybe we should send
I want funny right now.
Maybe we
And
send
then-
Cheville.
right now.
Give
I
him a
want
chance to
funny right
debate.
now.
Yeah, we
and
can.
then and then I want to see if Cheville responds quick enough, and then I want the
Yeah.
serious one. We won't even tell you what the response is.
I don't know, man. Like, to be honest, like I don't know. Like
Yeah, no, okay.
I would say it's me, but I don't know. I think we're just good at different things, honestly. Like I can't even put him down like that just because I know he's better than me at different things, So
No, you
to
got-
just be legit,
you got-
I think he has better like execution in like the final stages of like a position. Like he's really good at closing pressure and closing like situations and finishing moves. And I'm better at like planning the long term to get to a position, That's kind of how I see it,
Interesting.
But-
Interesting. I wonder if he has
Yeah.
the same opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting?
No, but that's a good breakdown of both of you because you guys have your strengths and you guys excel at both. What you guys do.
You know what
Yeah.
has been a pleasure, bro? What's been a pleasure is being able to have a class being taught by the both of you. Like that is like so cool to have both of them be teaching you in such a humble and like what's the word I want to use? I don't know. It's just awesome, dude. It's so good, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. It's like that has been really cool. I mean, you basically taught a seminar. I know I've said it like 18 times already, but you basically taught a seminar the other night. That was great. And Cheville, to give him some props too, he's one of my favorite when it comes to coaching live. Like he is like so good at getting that person like exactly what they need and vocalizing it in a way where it's almost like receiving. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's a true student.
Yeah.
Studies. You
And-
study, bro.
and then Shloke does it Shiluk does it now. Look at how great last night's class was, man. That's
Good.
so cool, man.
Taught a good
Thank you,
sequence
man.
and some good stuff, man.
So would you say for somebody listening that's growing, if you could keep yourself to like a 3 to 4 week in the gym, if gi is like your focus or no gi is your focus, if you're in the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week, that you can reach your goal around the same amount of time, or do you think or do you think that it depends on the person?
I guess more than like the person, like it definitely depends on the person and like what you're already doing, like if you're already strong or an athlete, but it also depends on like what your goals for yourself are. You know what I'm saying? Like if your goal is just to get like a blue belt and move up in the belt levels, then I don't think you necessarily have to go as hard as if you're trying to win competitions. And then like if you're just trying to win local competitions, you don't have to go as hard as if you're trying to win major competitions. So I think it kind of depends on your goals, you know?
Mhm.
And it also just depends on the amount of investment that you have, like when you're there and when you're training, you
Mhm.
know?
So do you think that competing is a strong way of progressing in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I think that's something me and Eddie have talked about a lot, actually. Like, since I've been around, how, like, and like I've talked to Radji about it too, about how you can compete and it can and if you really learn from the competition too, like some guys will just go in, compete, like grit their teeth and just go through it and never think about it again because they just hated the experience. But then some guys will have footage from it and they'll analyze it. And if you're one of the latter, then I feel like you can get a lot out of it. I feel like if you're just the type of person that's just going to close their eyes and like just try to get it over with and you're just competing to compete and then you never watch it again because like you did awful or something, then you're not going to get much out of it, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's all blank. It's like you're not paying attention to anything. It's just emotion. You're just going in with like blind emotion, essentially.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I have went into competitions like that before for sure and not done well. So I
Yeah, it's
definitely
an
know how that
adrenaline come
feels.
from it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
But
just always want to keep a cool mind and keep the strategy in your head. Be
yeah.
self-aware.
Mhm. Yeah, man. And lately I've been realizing that's a big part of it too, having a strategy beforehand. And also other than that, just being like mentally there too. Because
Mhm.
sometimes like you'll be there, but mentally you'll be somewhere else. And
Mhm.
I think that's like a recipe for disaster, you know?
I think it's good to play the scenarios in your head over and over. By the time it comes, it's like 'cause sometimes your body like can freeze up, but if your mind can think about things in the moment and not freeze up in your head, then
What do
it
you
gives you a better chance.
what do you do before a competition to help set your intent?
I think it's like a combination of different things, and I'm definitely not an expert on it. Like I'm still figuring it out for myself. But I think you need to have like the three aspects of like competition just kind of figured out. So I think you need to be like mentally ready to go, and that includes like not being hesitant, being confident in yourself, and having a game plan. Other than that, I think you really have to have your conditioning on point, and I think you can do that by having tough rounds in the gym and having a good strength and conditioning program. And the third is just having a strong game plan, and this kind of also goes into the mental. But you should have like a series of like moves that you can do effectively in the gym, and you can do it repeatedly. And I think that the moves that you choose should be the moves that you watch that you've seen other guys do in high level competitions, right? Like you guys know I like to play with the berimbolo. I wouldn't waste my time playing with like a technique that advanced if I hadn't seen it used like multiple times in competition because then I don't know if it's going to be effective, you know? So I think if you have those three things and you spend your time working on those three things, you can really get there,
Nice.
you know?
I like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean, for me, I've only competed a few times. I didn't compete at all at Purple, which I regret. But
I think I was there at your last one at the blue belt competition. It was the
yeah,
Jukau in-house. No, I think you had a pretty good competition that day.
Maybe I did. I can't remember. I thought the last one I did, dude submitted me. Can't remember what he got me in.
Oh, was that okay? So I
It was
think I
some
know which
other
one you're
in-house.
talking about. It was the in-house between the 3 schools.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Eli and Lenny, you guys might not know about this one, but back in the day, Rogers was involved in like a little competition where it was like 3 or 4 different schools and they all came together. And it wasn't really like a competition between schools, but it was just like a series of super fights where guys from different gyms were getting to compete with each other, and like it was like a fun kind of thing.
Remember Tom?
Yeah, I was
competed?
hurt.
Yo,
I was hurt.
Tom,
Yeah,
Tom,
yeah.
dude, Tom, made the
Tom-
dude's.
Tom B.
Yeah,
Tom B, yes.
Yeah.
the guy was bleeding. Like,
Bleeding?
Yes.
From where?
I'm like, holy shit! A fucking jujitsu
like
match
blood
where someone's
sport?
bleeding. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
He's like dipping his knuckles.
fucked him up.
Dude,
Beat
What,
him up.
what happened?
Yes.
Tom happened.
Oh,
yeah.
I just remember he did submit him, right? Do you remember what happened?
He crushed
He
him with
did.
biceps.
He did.
I think this is what happened. I think Tom had the guy in like a cross collar choke, and he was
Oh,
just
yeah.
pulling it. So our Tom
He
Blevins,
was doing standing.
Oh,
he was
man.
trying to finish a standing collar choke, and blood just started trickling out of Tom's nose while he was.
Oh,
doing
my
it.
God.
No,
He was
not
going so
Tom's
ham.
nose.
the other
Not
guy.
the other guy, not Tom.
Was it the other guy? Okay,
It was
was it
the other
okay,
guy.
it might have
Oh
been
my
It was
the
the
other
other
goodness.
guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But I don't. I
but
think,
bro, he was dialed in the whole time. Like the way
Yeah.
he was moving, that's how you should be doing it. He was dialed in the whole entire time. He had like
He-
a rhythm to him when he was coming forward. It was awesome.
None of that. Anytime, like I noticed this when we used to train. Like he's slowed down a lot, but like he was so explosive and like in a crazy good way. Like you just admire like his speed, and because he's kind of small, but he's huge. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
super fast and explosive. And like the guy, anytime the guy try to like tie up or do something, he's so fast. It's like, what the fuck? He's already gone. He's holding me, like he's
Yeah.
powerful. So it's like he's just out of the way every time the guy tries to come in. Like Tom's always
He's
like
a
that.
beast.
Always recover guard real quick. Just
So
get his legs in
strong.
front of you. You're just like, Jesus.
So strong.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I wish we had more opportunities because like I kind of think of that as like a scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? Where like one school or one team gets to go against like another couple teams, but it's just
Mhm.
for fun.
Mhm.
So like it's kind of like a scrimmage. I wish there was more like.
I wish there was
scrimmages
more of
like
that.
in
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu,
that'd be
you know?
awesome. Hell yeah.
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 Well, that kind of brings up a question.
Well, that's just about community. That would just mean like more like that's just all about different instructors that are friends with each other that own different gyms that come together to do that.
yeah, it's good to
But-
know the score though too, right?
There's
To
always
like
drama
know
in jiu-jitsu, man.
what the baseline is with other
Yeah.
schools, and that kind of brings up a question for you, Shlok. Like, have you done any traveling, whether that be for work or leisure or whatever, and trained in other schools around the country? And even
Yeah.
if it was just
Yeah.
once or twice, what was your kind of comparison? What was your level like? Did you feel that our students were at an equal playing field? Were we better? Were we worse? Just different?
Mhm.
I guess try not to be as biased as possible.
Yeah.
No, I mean, be as biased as you want, man. If you want to name the school and call them out,
Yeah.
no, I'm
So,
just saying. Like, I was trying to keep it neutral, but yeah, I mean, because I've had that experience too, and I honestly felt, just to answer quickly for me, and I won't name the name of the school, but I trained at a place
Go
in
ahead,
Georgia
man.
for like 3 weeks. It was an
Oh, wow.
Alliance gym. It was Alliance. Radji actually recommended that I go there while I was down there, and I felt that we were way above. I didn't even get a blue belt yet. I was maybe a 3 or 4 stroke blue belt, and they were asking me if I was sandbagging.
Wait.
The blue, yeah.
You mean you were a white belt?
I was a white belt.
You were a
Sorry,
white belt,
I was a
okay.
white belt. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 or 4 stripe white belt. So that was my experience. It was the only time I ever went to a different gym outside of the state. But I was like, wow, are we really that fucking good? I mean, we must be.
Yeah. Well, look, so I'll say I've been to 2 gyms that are like very big gyms, and like they have guys competing out of the gyms that are professional. And one of those gyms was when I was visiting my family in Dubai, and the gym is called Team Noguera Dubai. And like, not to put them on blast or anything, but I rolled that day in one of their advanced gi classes. There was no white belts in the classes, and I don't want to say I beat everyone, but like, I did pretty good that day. I didn't give up any submissions. I did have a brown belt past my guard, and this was when I was like deeper into my blue belt. So I visited my family. Me and Cheville went in, and we just went to war with the guys over there for a while. I was playing like a lot of single leg X at that point, and I was doing a lot of leg locks, and I don't think the guys were like hip to it.
Mhm.
They did have one really good brown belt that just blitzed my guard right away, and was able to just stay on top of me. But that was the extent of it. Like he didn't get a submission or anything, so I was pretty happy with it. You know, I was pretty happy with it.
That's cool.
And
That's awesome.
We should
Yeah.
make a map. We should make a map with thumbtacks and be like, yeah, we trained here, and
yeah,
That's cool.
it's
Dude,
really cool. I feel like
so-
you get to train
yeah.
in another country. You know,
So
Like, it's-
yeah, that's
Dubai,
awesome.
No, that's awesome experience too, man.
Yeah.
Dubai. What was
remember
the
the
gym like?
pictures.
Were there
Dude,
like
it looked huge. It looked
bro.
massive?
yeah, it looked amazing, bro. I seen
Yeah.
the pictures. I'm like, I
Like
was
were there people ready to massage you when you were done? Like,
No, dude, this gym was one of the nicest gyms. Not even just jiu-jitsu gyms, but one
Super
of
high
just the
ceilings.
nicest gyms.
yeah.
Like even like lifting gyms, any gym. Like so, it was like an industrial space,
Mhm.
right? But they had like 2 levels, and the first level there was a boxing
Soccer
ring.
field.
There was an octagon actually inside the gym.
oh shit!
There was a jiu-jitsu mat space. There was a whole area
Roller
dedicated to
coaster.
weightlifting. And on the second floor, dude, there was a juice bar.
Oh,
it was
wow.
really sick.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, it was
That's
it was
dope.
really sick space. Yeah.
No, that
There
was,
was
probably
one period.
an amazing vacation, by the way.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice, man. If you guys ever get the chance to go over to Dubai, like I highly recommend it. Jiu-jitsu is actually pretty popular there too.
Well, I hope Adaptive
That's
takes
cool.
us to Dubai.
Yeah.
Dubai would be amazing. Yeah, place
So if you're
to
coming with us if we go.
yeah.
do
Yo,
business.
let's go. They have competitions
Yes,
over
yes.
there actually.
I know.
I don't know if you guys want to hit some like Abu Dhabi competitions over there. There's
What?
some high level competitions over there.
Yeah.
The
right.
sheikhs, they love that shit. They love
Yeah.
watching. They love watching
Mhm.
combat.
So,
Yeah.
We need to make fancier products.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Get in there, man.
Yeah, sell out a little more.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby steps. Yeah, but it's honestly it's
like,
it's
this one
like people
changes
think
with
of
the
it.
times.
Yeah,
Bruce
it's not as expensive as you think it is to go over there. It's like it's definitely expensive to live
Just the
over
times.
there, but yeah,
It's the crazy times we're in right now. You know.
yeah, for sure.
It's basically like a city built like right off of a desert, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's wild, man.
You got it, buddy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got it.
So, pretty much. And it's
This has been
it's
geography with
they're
Eli.
still building it. Like as we're speaking, they're still working on building it. So
They make like star pattern islands and whatnot,
yeah, and
reefs and
and
shit.
there's always like a lot of foreigners and stuff over there that are visiting, and all the buildings, like it's not really like New York City where things look like run down and stuff. Like everything's still being built right
new.
now. So when
Yeah.
you're there, yeah, like everything looks brand new.
Clean.
You know?
Super
Mhm.
clean.
So Brad
Yeah.
had a question here. He
Oh,
said,
shit.
any tips on translating that flow state you feel while training into actual competitions?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. What do you guys think on that?
Ah, man, see, like I'm less experienced when competing, so I mean, the only thing I would say is just to piggyback off what you were saying earlier, going with the game plan. Know you put in the work for cardio, because the only way you're gonna be able to flow is if you're really just methodically controlling the situation. You might have to be tight. There's no real flowing, I think, other than in the sense of
Yeah.
being able to ride the wave when a dude's acting jerky and herky jerky in the competition, and you mentally beat them, and they're doing panicky stuff. You just flow and ride on them like a surfboard is the way I would explain it. Just from more just data collecting from watching, you know, because I've watched a lot of competitions, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
I haven't. I've done like 6. You know, it's nothing.
Mhm. No,
So-
I mean, but like from like even just from like excuse me guys, even from like a spectator's mindset where like you're coaching, you can pick up a lot about what the best things to do are, you know.
Mhm.
In my opinion,
Analyze it, but that's pretty much it.
yeah, in
Go
my
on.
opinion, in training, it's really important to concentrate on the mental side of it. more than the physical side of it. Because I used to concentrate on the physical side, and I was like, okay, I need to get like 10, 15 rounds in today. And there was a period where we were training like 15, 16 rounds in the gym every night. And I think that's good when you're first starting out, just getting like super high volume. But I think when you start to get deeper into it and more specific, then like the quality of your round starts to matter a little bit more. So I think the decision making and it becomes like a bigger part, right? Like let's say if I was rolling with you, Brad, and like you gave me like a specific move set that I felt like you were going to try to do, then I would have to have the best response for it. But I would have had to train that response as well so that I could execute it properly. So it's honestly just like pattern recognition, and then like I recognize what patterns you're coming at me with, and then I need to be present. I need to be concentrated in the role, just in order to recognize what you're trying to do, and then I need to pick the best response, and then I just need to have the confidence to execute that response, and that's why training on the mats is so important, so that I can build that confidence over time and translate it into competition.
A playbook,
You know?
a game plan, like
Mhm.
an understanding
Yes,
of
yep.
exactly what you're going to do in any situation.
Mhm.
Eddie said something interesting. Unfortunately, Eddie's gotten hurt and his ankle's a little messed up
Why you
now
calling me out, bro?
because you communicated that you were on the side of the mats and you're collecting data now, and like you're getting to like watch people.
I was just talking about watching matches, not.
No, I'm what I'm adding is that like it's part of building a game plan that
Yeah,
you
no
pay
doubt.
attention to what your
I'm
partner's
studying
doing.
all you
know.
guys now.
Right. It's important to bring that mindset. Another mindset from Professor Joe. He says to keep that flow state for for your competitions.
No sex the
No
night
sex
before.
the night before. Do you
Yeah.
have any comment on that, Shlok?
Yeah. Well,
The opposite.
I don't know if you guys know, but
Mad
it's not. It
sex
doesn't
the
have to
night
do anything
before.
with that comment. But apparently, Mike Tyson used to fuck a lot before he
That's
got
what we're
out
saying.
there.
There you go.
And I don't know. Mike Tyson is a savage, but I don't know if it has anything to do with that. But
Hey, in
all
McGregor's
I'm saying is I
prime,
know Mike Tyson used to fuck a lot.
in McGregor's prime too, they asked him the same question, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Nah, man, that's a myth." And I was like, "All right, that was a G answer right there, you know." So
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I think
go
that was a
ahead, man.
perfect answer to Brad's question, Sloke, because in my mind, and again with that, and even your limited training experience, way more than my or
You mean competing, yeah,
competing experience, but just being around and coaching people who are getting ready, and then hearing their accounts from afterwards, I think that there's no real flow. Like you're not waiting for a flow state in the competition. It's about having repetition and drills to know that when you feel this is what you're going to do. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about game plan.
I also think it's like.
Sorry, I'm laughing at
I also
Professor
think
Joe's
it helps
comment.
to like compete a lot, especially like when you're around like white and blue belt. Like I think around blue belt, I competed maybe like 8 times within like just 1 year. The year of 2019, I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna hit a competition every like month. I'm gonna try to hit a competition, if not like 2 months. And I just kind of tried to do something each time. And I felt like I got a lot out of it, even though I was getting my ass kicked at some of the blue belt competitions, because I honestly do think blue belt is one of the hardest belt levels to compete at, just because it's saturated with like so many people that are blue belts, and they're all usually like athletic at like the adult level. At least they're all like super athletic guys, and especially in my weight class, which is like 145, it's like you get quick guys. And some guys can just know like a move that you don't know, and that can just cause you to lose the match,
you ain't
But like at
145
purple belt, you know
anymore.
stuff. What's up, man?
Said you ain't 145 anymore.
Yeah, no, not anymore. No.
Yeah, but I guess at blue
I was
belt
getting injured too much at 145, so I couldn't keep it up anymore.
guys are fucking fast and blasting through.
So that
Slow 'em
year,
down.
with all those
Yeah.
competitions that you did, right, getting all
Yeah.
those, getting all of that experience under your belt, if you can recall your level of nerves between your first competition that year and your last one. Does it change with experience? especially at the same belt, right? You were competing at the same level all year, right? So does that change at all just with the time?
Good question.
That's a good question, actually. I think initially, like, I would get pretty fucking nervous, and I just didn't have the experience or the maturity to know how to deal with the nerves that I would have before the competitions. So I remember there was like one Naga that I did, and I lost every single match that I did that day. And that was like honestly my worst tournament performance ever. Like I lost like 3 matches, and that was it for me. And I was pretty disappointed. But I did, I did also have some good competitions that year. But for that one, I literally was so nervous that I smoked like a ton of fucking weed before even starting out in the competition. And like 2 hours later, like after I was like I'd smoked a ton of weed, I was like up there and I was like, okay, like I'm ready to go. But my body was just completely slumped because I was coming off the high at that point. So I was just ready to,
You weren't
like
high
fall
enough.
asleep. Yeah. Yeah. I
So
wasn't ready to go.
the weed didn't help.
No. But I've also had experiences where I did smoke like 10 minutes before competing and like I fucking killed it, So
It was the strain.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying.
hearing. Is it was the strain?
Well, no,
The
what I'm
strain,
hearing
yeah,
is
yeah.
he didn't smoke enough. He came off of it. He was like, "Fuck, shit, I can't do this."
Yeah, pretty much.
Not enough the first time.
Yeah. That's
So-
No, but I really think it's like a mental thing in jiu-jitsu, and like if you're thinking and if you have like the right things to think about, then you can do well. But if you smoke a lot of pot and you can't think anymore, then you're gonna be struggling to keep up in the competition because you're not able to think at the same level as the other guy.
Mhm.
Yes.
You need to be
Hot Neil.
sharp.
Hot
Yeah.
Neil says yes.
Yeah,
Hot Neil.
100%.
I mean, I've been
100%.
scrolling through their comments.
So-
They're kind of having a side conversation.
So, Shloke, do you have
Yeah.
any highlights that you want to talk about in your journey at any point?
Yeah, honestly, the whole journey is like there hasn't really been like a lot of points that were like up and down. When I was a purple belt and I left for the army, that was kind of like the lowest point that I've had. And even then, like I was training once a week, but I was training with the guys that were in my barracks that were living with me. We had like 60 guys to a barracks, and like eventually I just started being like on Sundays we had religious hour, and I'm not really religious myself. So like to all the other people that weren't really religious or like going anywhere, I would just be like, does anyone want to train jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu's our religion.
Yeah, pretty much. And we would end up just getting like a crowd of guys. And it would usually start with me just sitting in the center and like guys just coming at me trying to beat me up. And then I would tap them out. And then eventually they would get like convinced that like this was real and it worked. And then eventually I just started coaching them through it. And
That's awesome.
at that point I was training like once a week. Yeah.
That's cool.
But-
At
That's
least,
pretty dope.
yeah,
but it
and you're
was cool.
teaching,
Yeah.
so it's like you're thinking about
Yeah.
it more too.
Would you
That's good.
like what would you say that time off did for you and your training?
I think just some of the principles that like the military puts in you kind of taught me to work hard. And also in the military, there's like a big emphasis on physical fitness. And I think the physical fitness kind of taught me to trust my body a little bit more. Whereas like previously, like I didn't trust my body. I was like, yeah, I'm not fit enough to do this move. I'm not strong enough to like, hold on to someone's collar. But after a while, like after I was like rucking and like for hours or, like whatever we had to do, I just started to trust my body a little bit more to accomplish things. And it kind of gave me a different mindset towards jiu-jitsu and just being effective in things,
So it almost like helped you like be able to draw the lines for your game plan, your battle when you look at jiu-jitsu, do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of said to myself, I was like, it sucks that I have time off, but hopefully like putting in the hard work here helps me translate to get better at jiu-jitsu. And I think it did help me. I think it helped me mature a lot. So I think that's always a good thing. What do you guys think?
I blanked out. Sorry.
Just stop
I
talking
zoned
about
out
just
for a second. My
maturity.
bad.
Yeah, no
Well,
worries.
Renita's got a question here. She wants to know, what do you eat before competing?
No, when you
So-
eat before curious.
Curious when you eat before
Oh,
competing.
okay. I thought you said what.
He did. I did say
so
what? I want to know what he eats before competing.
Yeah.
You
But
changed her
you changed
question.
her
I did. I
question.
when?
Yes.
Sorry, Ren.
Oh.
Ren wants to know. Slow. Curious. When do you eat before competing?
So lately, I've actually been cutting weight, and I think it's super important to cut weight. And I'm not the only one that's like really big on it. A lot of the guys that I've been watching, and some of the guys that Cheville trains with, and some of the guys that have been having a lot of success, I've figured out that they've been cutting weight pretty consistently. So I kind of limit myself to like a fast, about like a week or two before the competition, and then I do like a water cut. Like you guys know, like the water cut that UFC fighters do, where they just like slow down the amount of water that they take during the week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I do a water cut, like 3 or 4 days before the competition. So then I'll go and weigh in as soon as the scale is open. After the scale is open, I'll literally just down like Gatorade, electrolytes, sugars, like, and like I'll probably go have a meal. Like I'll have some eggs or something, like something that my body can process
Mhm.
quickly and
calculated.
efficiently.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and then like I'll do that 2 hours before. Like I usually have to be on the mat, and then I'll just get out there, and like I'm usually ready to go by then.
Nice. I mean,
So,
it sounds
yeah.
logical,
Yeah,
intelligent.
sounds better
Yeah.
than stopping at Wawa for a sub.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even at Wawa, like I'm going for like I went to a diner before the last competition, right? And I ordered an omelet, and I ordered a Greek omelet, which had like chicken, but it also had like a lot of veggies in it and stuff. And I don't even think I ate the whole thing, just because like I was getting full pretty quick, but I ate as much of it as I could. I just forced it down. I forced down a lot of water. And then by the time my matches started, I felt pretty good.
Mhm.
You know,
How many hours before did you eat?
I think 2 hours.
Yeah,
2
I
hours
was gonna
before.
say that. That's usually when I would
Yeah.
do it.
If we could do a
Yeah.
whole thing on weight cuts and the different
Yeah.
techniques. I mean, there's so many, and there's so many that when you read about them, you're like, holy shit, you fucking do that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
Like, you
talk
hear,
about
like-
doing them.
like
Let's do it.
like so briefly mentioned the electrolyte thing. Like, you know, if you cut out electrolytes, like salt, for instance, is one of the techniques that they use, because you can't hold water if you don't have any salt in your body. So they won't eat anything with salt in it for like a couple
Yes.
days.
Mhm. Yep.
And then you just dehydrate like fucking crazy. So you can come up 6, 7, 8 pounds lighter on a scale.
I think that's good for you.
No, it's terrible for
Yeah, I
you.
was
How can your brain function?
So I was
you know,
gonna
well, this is a
ask-
whole nother conversation, but you know, it's
Mhm.
So
Not
what is
good. Not
what
good.
is the water cut consist of?
So the one that I've been doing, it starts out a week before the day of the weigh-ins, and you can if you do it right. And actually, Radji taught me this. Radji taught me about this back when I was like a white belt and I was doing my first competition. And I was a little bit like I was like 2 or 3 pounds over what I needed to be for the weight class. But you start a week before the competition. The first day, you drink about 2 gallons of water. So you just carry around 2 gallons and you down them. The next day, you drink like 1.5 gallons. Then the next day, you drink like 1 gallon. And then, like, incrementally, you're just reducing the amount of water that you're drinking until you get to the weigh-ins. And then, like, the day before the weigh-ins, you're having like half a water bottle. And then the day of the weigh-ins, like, you're not drinking anything. You're just keeping your mouth wet the whole time. Like, you're sweating, you're like urinating, and you're just kind of letting the water out however you can. And then you can usually drop like 7 or 8 pounds that way.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And that's what I've been doing.
And then you have to you bring yourself back to normal afterwards.
Yeah, as soon as the weigh-in's done. So that's it's nice when some like some jiu-jitsu competitions like Naga, I believe it's Naga actually, they have like the day before weigh-in, so they have the space like to weigh in the day before, so you can do it the day before, then you can gain all the weight back. And sometimes they have day off, so it's a little bit harder, but if you have a couple hours in between, you could still do it. And on the day of ones, like I'm not cutting mostly water because I've been doing some reading, and you really can't perform as well. You can't think as sharply if you cut too much water and you're dehydrated. So I've been
Yeah.
mixing in a fast with the water cut, so I don't cut as much water for those competitions.
I mean, your brain's only like 80% water, so
Yeah. And if you dehydrate it, obviously like you lose like some cognitive capabilities that are really important in
Yeah, which
jiu-jitsu.
as you explained before, you
So-
need to be able to be sharp and see.
so if your
Okay.
brain is 80% water and you've
Mhm.
not taken 80% of your daily water for the day, how much brain do you have left?
Not a lot, no.
We already
But,
discussed this isn't a math show.
Yeah.
Math.
So like they like
I
you
didn't say
could
any
get
numbers,
into, like,
though.
the
Yeah, I did.
percent
We had to
taking
come
of
up with a
it.
You're
percentage.
talking.
Sorry, Slow.
What's
No, you're
one?
fine. You could get into like the percent taking of it too. Like when it comes to body weight, like if I could calculate like my total body weight, which is like 165 pounds, that's like 100%. So if I'm doing like a 7-pound cut, like I'm not sure how much that is,
Mhm.
but scientists say like you shouldn't cut more than 4% water.
11.5
So
pounds.
yeah, so whatever that is, I'm keeping it at like 6-7 pounds. Like I'm not cutting more than that. Just so
Right. So by
can
keeping
still
yourself in
perform
a specific range, you could stay healthy and stay sharp and whatnot.
Mhm. I think a gallon of water
Yeah.
weighs like in volume, in mass, like 7 pounds, 8 pounds, something like that.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm just gonna 86 Mets that shit.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Or my
Oh,
cocaine before.
taking greenies, amphetamines.
Oh, you're gonna what's his name?
I'm just
Are
kidding.
you gonna
Daryl
smoke
Strawberry?
smoke a pack of cigarettes?
Dwight Gooden and
drink
shit.
beer.
That's what I good in, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
there's a story in
I can see every fucking seam on the ball.
there's a story in Daryl Strawberry's book about the '86 Mets where him and David Cohn go out drinking the night before like a Sunday day game. So like us waking up tomorrow and at 1:00 there being a game, and they went out. They came out of the club and the sun was rising, and they went straight to Shea Stadium. And as soon as they got there, Daryl Strawberry just dumped amphetamines in his mouth, started in the game, and then David Cohn is like in a jacket. It's a warm day, but he's like so hungover that he's freezing. He's wearing a jacket. He's wearing shades. He's in like the corner of the dugout. And Daryl's up at the plate hitting a triple off the wall. And as soon as he comes back after scoring, he says to him, he goes, "How did you even do that?" He's like, it's the greenies, baby.
That's funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Wolf of Wall Street, baby.
yeah. Yeah, but what is it? Burn fast and hard, but it go out quick. What's the saying? I can't think of the
What the
saying.
fuck?
Burn.
Yeah, no.
So, nah,
Nope.
nah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
No idea. I only played baseball for like a year, so I didn't really pick up on a lot of things.
Yeah. So and before I ask you this question, anybody that's listening out there, you have any questions for Shloke, please comment and we'll make sure to ask him now. But Shloke, so in your journey, other than having to, stop training while you were a purple belt when you went to the military, what other difficulties have you gone through, if any? Injuries or something with school, or that stopped you from being able to train, like any or something in school where you felt like you plateaued. Any difficulties that maybe you have highlighted?
So like I've been pretty lucky because like majority I've been injury free. So that's been good for me. Like I haven't really had like a lot of injuries in jiu-jitsu, so I've been able to like always be training like as long as the training's been available for me, which has been very helpful. I guess some of the difficulties that I've had are just like like skill level wise. Like I guess when you first start, like you're getting your ass kicked, so I guess that's one difficulty. But honestly, like I don't really have a great answer for that because when I look at my journey, like mostly I look at it as like very positive for me because it's like the one thing that really helps me keep my head on straight. So even if I try to think back to it, even the times that I've had to take time off to like go away and not train, like I don't really regret those times just because I ended up kind of learning from it. So the way I kind of try to look at jiu-jitsu is like even if like something negative happens, like let's say like I hurt my knee, then my immediate thought is like, okay, what can I learn from this situation to prevent it that would that would result in my jiu-jitsu becoming better. And that's pretty much like how I kind of look at a lot of the issues that I come across in jiu-jitsu. Like if I lose a match, like or if I'm training and I'm getting my ass kicked, I'm immediately my thoughts just go on, okay, like that wasn't fun. Now how can I make it a little bit better so that I can, and like I kind of find myself in that game planning phase a lot, you know, like in my free time, I'm just game planning like sometimes about jiu-jitsu,
That's awesome,
you know.
man. That's good.
We've talked about on the show like the walls of jiu-jitsu, like what will hold it up, and mentally, like dude, you're one of the most like sound guys that I've seen. So that leads me to this question. Have you ever been angry on the mat? Because I don't think I've ever seen Shlok like pissed off. Like I feel like I've seen everybody in the gym at least once. Like you see them like whether it's beat down, like they feel like on themselves, like man, I suck right now, or just straight up angry, like somebody just pissed them off, like they did something that like pissed them off. I've never seen Shlok angry ever. Just even keel.
For sure. I remember one time we were playing pass protect, and this was at Radji's old location. And I remember, you guys remember Keith, right? Brown belt Keith.
Of course.
Yeah. So we
Eli,
were playing
I've
pass
heard his name a
protect.
bunch of times.
Eli came later that year after he was gone.
Yeah, after he was gone. Yeah, but this guy was like a little bit of a rougher like brown belt. And like he was a fucking like great guy, and I learned a lot of shit from him, by the way. So like shout out to that guy. But I remember one time we were playing pass protect, and like it was one of my first times where like I'd almost stayed in like the whole fucking round. And this guy, like, he's a brown belt obviously, and he's got some size on me, and he just, you know, passes my guard, which is, you know, probably what will happen. But I remember I was so mad at myself. Yeah, but I remember, dude, I was so mad at myself. I literally like turned around and I fucking just smacked the mat, and I was like, fuck, like, and then that was probably one of the times.
One time playing pass protect with that, and this just reminded me of this, and I haven't thought about this in years too, but up against Keith, right? I was down on the mat. We're doing pass protect drills. He does a fucking rolling Kimura.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Like we're both seated, and he rolled forward to grab my arm and Kimura me. I'm like, how was that pass protect drills, you asshole?
He's gotten me with that one too.
But go on. No, come on. I mean, that's not a drill. That's not fucking drilling.
Yeah.
It was a drill for him.
That's me winning. That's me steroid winning.
But that's just one of the things
you'll probably
that I
shoot
me. But yeah, that's just one of the things that I can think of. And he was a good guy about it too. He came over and talked to me after, and like a couple seconds after it, like too, like I wasn't mad or like anything about it. I was just kind of disappointed in myself because I thought I kind of had my game together enough to where I could stop him. But you know, that's jiu-jitsu. Like sometimes you think you have your game together enough where you could like overcome certain odds, but it just doesn't happen, you know?
Yeah.
But then other times it does. So
yeah, and I think that's a big reason why we like to reflect on our internal battles too, and the things that we do on the mat, because that kind of teaches us how to be like better stewards of the game.
Cool, calm, collected.
Yeah, like so with that angry question, how about like as of recently, do you find yourself at all now in your game ever getting upset?
Why are you looking for negatives, bro?
I'm just asking.
Recently, not quite as much. Recently, like I've just been focused on like the learning process and picking up new techniques. Well, actually, not really even picking up new techniques. I don't know why I said that, but I found that like the last couple of years, I picked up a lot of new techniques, but I wasn't really solid in the new techniques that I picked up. So recently, my focus has just been on like strengthening the techniques that I've added to my game in the past couple of years instead of looking for new stuff to add in, you know?
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd actually like to throw a question back to you guys. Like we were talking about like having hard times while training. Ed, like you and me were talking the other day, and I know you were off for a little bit. So that might have been like a struggle for you. So if you want to go into that, I'm sure like
That was
get a lot out
definitely
of
more. That was more of a mental aspect, but that was just, the pandemic hit. So it was like, I remember I was coaching twice a week at that point. I was training like 4 or 5 times a week, and then the pandemic hit. And not because I didn't want to train. I wanted to train the whole fucking time. I wasn't really, never really worried about that whole thing, but that's a whole nother thing. But I remember because work picked up because everybody was going out and all the madness and everything was going on. So it was like, all right, well, I still worked, you know. So I worked through the whole thing, working crazy hours. We didn't train. We closed down. We didn't train till like May. So it was like two months. I know a couple guys training with each other, but I didn't get the chance to, which sucked. So it was like I literally wasn't doing anything. It was the first time in my life I was most inactive, other than going on hikes. I went on hikes. That's about it. But yeah. So obviously going through world changing things mentally, that's a whole nother thing. Jiu-jitsu means so much to me, not just mentally, but physically, which helps my mental, because it's like one of the only exercises I do now. Unfortunately, I've limited to just basically jiu-jitsu at this point. So then we started training again, and it was like obviously like backdoor training. We weren't even open yet.
Yeah.
Until like, I don't know, it was like July when he officially opened. So it was like from like mid-May to, I don't know, beginning of July or mid-July. He finally opened in 2020 when he was allowed to, like everybody else. And I was training like twice a week. So I was like, at that point, it was getting less. I was working more hours. And then I got a new position at my job where I took on another store. And from that point on, I was working crazy hours for like, I don't know, a good solid 10 months. And then my training was so irregular. It was like once every 2 weeks, maybe twice in 1 week if I was lucky here. And then like I would skip 2 weeks because I couldn't get there and make it because I'm working like, 60 plus hours a week. And yeah, that was just a hard time. I knew, like, I love jiu-jitsu so much that I knew when things can calm down that I get it back once I can get a routine of it. But yeah, pretty much yeah, that was just that was tough, man, because I had to persevere over some hard mental challenges because my mom passed away and everything like that. And but then once I that happened, it was like boom. It was like I saw clear as far as like checking out the negative energy, and I picked up my training again, and just took baby steps. Like I knew, because I was down on myself too, because every time I would go, I felt like I wasn't worried about competing with anybody. I knew I just had no energy for it. Like mentally, I just had no energy, and I felt like, oh, I'm not even having fun. And that's an important thing too. You want to also have fun when you're training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like I was just in a dark place. But then once I got out of it, baby steps, I was just like training. All right, I went twice a week. Did that like 2 weeks in a row, and that was 3, and then it was 4. And then it's like boom, I'm back into like training. Now it's been like 8-9 months the other way, training hard. So yeah.
Dude, with you, man,
It's
like
long-winded,
I
sorry.
remember you were gone for a bit, and I missed you like the whole time, like that you were gone. But I didn't have a doubt that you would come back to it eventually, because I recognized how into the sport you were. So I was like, all right, Eddie's gone for now. And I did think like transitioning back into it would not be easy, just because everyone else like gets better while you're stopped training. But like I knew that you would come back to it and transition back eventually. I just wasn't sure when you would do it, But I'm really glad that you
faith
did.
in me, bro.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you did.
It sucks when you have your training partners that like you feel like that ice climber like sense where like they grow a little bit and they help you move up, and then you grow a little bit and you help them move up, and then they go away. Like they, life happens and they leave. Your
Yeah.
brother is a perfect example of that. Like,
Yeah.
I miss him so much with training. Like, he's another person, obviously, just like you. When you left for your training in the military, like that sucked, man. I felt like I wasn't growing. But to get back to the difficulties, so Shloke was actually involved with one of mine when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And I'm so happy that it was him, to be honest with you, because it makes me feel better. Like, it was like, I don't know, good pure energy. But we were in a comp class, and my ankle popped on a toe hold. But it was funny because I'm echoing, you said?
Mm-hmm. Just talk close to the mic.
He had a nice toe hold on me, and I had the adrenaline of that competition, and I didn't want to tap, but he had gotten me. And look, I wish we had the video ready to show, because it is loud. The pop, man, it is super loud. But I ended up training like 2 days later, and then I finally took, I think, maybe a week off. But it took probably like 8 months for it to fully heal, but I kept training that entire time. It was like training without a limb almost, like, but continuing to come, and the results from it, like, I feel different, like, not just physically but mentally. Like, I feel like when you have that challenge or that difficulty, and you finally climb that identified inhibitor, all of a sudden now you feel like you could do anything. Like, my ankle now feels healthy, and like, when it's finally to the point now, when I get into a leg lock, like somebody's holding my toe or ankle or whatever, I don't get scared now. Now I kind of like, I relax, I chill out, and if they get a strong position on it, if that wristwatch is up in there and underneath the Achilles, and it's just done, I just tap. Okay, you got me. That's it.
It's very mature of you.
It's not worth it. It's not worth to hold on. But it was cool, because it's funny. You don't know what that feels like and where it is, where it's gonna pop, until it fucking happens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, now I understand the strength that I have in the foot, which is not a lot. It's not like a major muscle group where, like, if somebody's got an Americana on you, or somebody's got a Kimura, like, you understand like the strength behind your pec and your shoulder, whereas your foot, those tendons and muscles are so much smaller, and you don't really understand like what's there. But
it's because you never play that game.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true too, Ed. Yeah. I feel like if honestly, you train it more too.
It's just like every other piece of your limb. You only know that about your shoulder because fucking 95% of your game is always there.
Right. No, it's true. And we were having that discussion this week, that we wanted to spend more time looking at those attacks and understanding defenses there. Yeah, I do too.
I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone too long. Yeah. I mean, I know, I understand, positionally where to be and stuff, where the safe spots are, but like to really like,
so what are your guys? What are you guys think about from your positions? White belts, blue belts. How should they be introducing lower half attacks into their game? Should they be doing it at all? Should they be doing it a lot? Or not, or never?
I feel like almost like somebody needs to develop some sort of exercise where, like, okay, I'm going to take some white belts or blue belts and I'm going to put you both in a 50-50 and have you hold like a toe hold or ankle lock position, and just be like, I don't want you guys to jerk or roll or do anything. I just want you to have somebody hold and have the other person like wiggle a little bit, because I want to kind of drill like how easy it is for you to be like, oh, I can escape this way. Pop. Nope. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're only,
so you're talking about drilling there and like drilling specific?
Like, I don't want you guys, if you roll 180, you're going to fucking hurt yourself. I want you to have the hold and just like kind of shimmy. Just, I want you to feel that tension in your knees and not, because I mean, for me, I'm so cautious about it. Like, if you have me in a toe hold or a knee bar, ankle lock, whatever, like as soon as I feel like I'm like bending over to touch my toes just a little bit, I'm like, "Ah, tap. You got it, dude. I'm not playing that game."
Yeah, man, and I agree with what you're saying 100%.
Because I feel like it's
talking about
never
that
really like
sport
into it.
specific.
Yeah.
You're talking about that sport specific drilling there, and I think like drilling from like a position where they're like you start in the position and like you're super specific in it, and there's some resistance as like a really good way to work like uncharted territories.
Mm-hmm.
Like I definitely think that leg locks should be trained the same way that Kimuras and arm bars are trained eventually. I could see why heel hooks would be a little bit
That's
of
the
an
only one
exception
that's
to that rule.
yeah. Heel hooks are the only one that could damage more than one part of your body because it could also blow your knee. Like any
depending on what
straight
you
ankle
do.
locks and stuff like that, toe holds. You're only going to hurt that one area. But that's why heel hooks are extra dangerous because then all of a sudden you're like, I went from not being able to walk for like 2 months to like 6 months now
to
9 months. You know what I mean? Because you're like, I need fucking surgery and 2 different things now.
In tournaments that you're not allowed to do,
but I'm
heel hooks at certain belt levels, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Especially
You're not in the gi. They're completely off limits. Heel
Mhm.
hooks are completely off limits. But still, like I think you should still train them. I could
Absolutely.
see waiting on heel hooks until you're a little bit more of like a developed grappler. But like then there's also the argument that like okay, but if you started training it on day one, then you wouldn't think of it as anything bigger than what it
Right.
is. Like you wouldn't have a fear of it if you were learning it while you were learning Kimuras, But I do understand that the knees, like it's sensitive, and if you injure your knee, it's not the same as just like getting like your foot popped on like a toe hold or a foot lock,
Like I definitely agree with you 100%. I think you should be learning all this stuff, at least learning it from the beginning. But
just drill home the sincerity and like
understanding
the caution that must be applied behind something like this, right?
But then as a gym, I would set the rules and be like, listen, you're like purple belt, like no, blue belt, and white belts don't go for heel hooks. Well, we're going to teach you this stuff.
Yeah.
I think that way it's like at least people, because you know what? Some people can't get past that like herky jerkiness in blue belt and white belt. So in live training, they have sometimes people just see, I don't mean red, but sometimes they just, I gotta win, and like they don't give a shit what happens to you in the moment. That doesn't mean they're a bad person, but sometimes people can't control themselves physically when it's like, I don't know. It's like, I think that's another thing when you rank up, you just have such a good situational awareness of like the joints, your body against the other person's body, and basically grappling and everything in the sense of like where things should be positioned, where you can really hurt somebody. Like you should have an understanding of your partner's thresholds, you know what I mean? And manipulation of their joints and other things and chokes and stuff like that. So I feel like you slow everything down at that point. You become more methodical. Even when you become quick and explosive, it's like you know where you need to be positionally. That's why I think you should taught it from the beginning. Obviously the fundamentals and basics are key first, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you don't skill in some of the other stuff. And I think it's really on the individual too to like seek some stuff out. But they need to, I don't know. If I was a gym owner, I'd be like, no, you're not doing any of this stuff until at least purple belt. Like live rolls. You know?
I think other than just like the fact that you should concentrate on fundamentals for a while, like it's also important to acknowledge that like the fundamentals are constantly changing. Like so like what like was constituted as jiu-jitsu fundamentals 10 years ago, it's like completely different than what people think of as fundamentals now. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like a completely different like outlook.
I mean, do you think the basic, like, all right, there's really only 4 steps in jiu-jitsu, right? It's like you break through the guard, then you have to pass the legs. Once you get past the legs, then you're working on like basically pinning, like wrestling at that point, and then the fourth step is your submission.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
those basically fundamentals is being able to like control those positions. So it's
Mhm.
like I think I don't know, way you move your body around the person,
But you
is your
kinda-
fundamentals.
didn't-
No matter
didn't-
what, that I think is
Didn't you just ignore leg locks
universal.
though?
No, because you got to get past dangerous legs. That's not.
So you don't have to get past the dangerous legs. You can attack. Like if someone's in X guard, you can attack an ankle or heel from there
Without having to pass the guard.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
kind of those 4 steps, you're kind of
Yeah, you could also I mean, if you're gonna look at it that way, someone could just go for a double leg, and all of a sudden you're like guillotine.
These were the 4 steps that were like in the scope of why jujitsu isn't effective in a fight. I think, and to like get it to the ground or in competition, right? Those 4 steps. Like once you can punch me in the face when I'm trying to grab your ankles, it's completely different.
Yeah. I guess those are the fundamentals of using jujitsu
right,
in a fight.
That's,
no doubt.
Because I was thinking, and Elijah, you're talking about the Danaher thing the other day, right? Like he's breaking down those 4 things. And so it's like, okay, if you can get to the legs, you'd have to get past the legs. If you can lock them down, maybe.
But they're very dangerous.
If you can't? Yeah, what if you can't?
Yeah. I saw that thing too with him talking about it, and he was like, that's kind of what makes people uncomfortable about the leg locks, is the fact that it kind of breaks off that system of
doesn't fit into that system.
Like you don't have to pass the guard. Yeah, and I think he brings up like a really good point there, but like also like, okay, if you look at Barambolos, like you can do a Barambolo without having to pass the guard. You can get right to the back. So it kind of falls into like the same realm, So I guess when I think about it, I'm like, okay, the fundamentals, like instead of like, okay, like I got to work on this guard pass, it's also like the style of guards that are being played now are like a little bit different than they were a few years ago. And like the style of guard passes are changing, like the submissions used, they're changing. And I think it's important to kind of change the information that the white belts are getting to as this happens.
So Angel says here, I like the idea of easing into knee and ankle locks. I'm a white belt and fully committed to quote unquote bitch mode when it comes to knees and ankles. So honestly, I don't think it's bitch mode. I think it's you understand that you don't know the defenses, you don't know the response to this yet. You're still learning. Tap early, tap often. If you can't fight out of something. And sometimes you also have like weaknesses, like your right shoulder is not as strong as your left shoulder. You know what I mean? Like you have to know your tolerances in your training environment. Maybe in a competition it may be a little bit different, but you need to keep yourself healthy for you and for your partner.
We'll call it beta mode.
Beta mode.
Beta mode.
Leg locks beta.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like just to play devil's advocate here, like a Kimura, a shoulder lock, the shoulder is also like a really sensitive joint, and it's like a ball and socket joint, right? Like it has like a lot of rotation, and that's similar to the knee. So if I'm going to do a Kimura and rip someone's shoulder, it's kind of similar to a heel hook where you're ripping the knee, because they're both ball and socket joints. So just to kind of play devil's advocate,
it's like multi-level
okay, so then why are Kimuras okay, but why are heel hooks?
I think it's because of the muscle. I think it's because it's supported.
Because you could still do a lot more if you can walk around.
You don't have to walk on your hands.
No, I think from a physics standpoint,
I know what he's saying.
There's more muscle mass around that ball socket joint next to the pec, which is one of the largest muscle groups in the body. Whereas your knee.
Why are you touching yourself?
Your knee is connected to
not a slow-mo replay of that for a promo video.
Yeah,
the knee next week. The knee is its own structure. It's like pretty much just holds itself in place. So any type of torque there, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I look at it, at least from, and I'm still learning all of this. I'm the baby of everybody, but I look at it along the lines of like, if you're building a house, you learn how to build the foundation first. You don't learn how to build the roof. So you got to get to a certain point where you understand the game enough. So I think Professor Joe says 3 stripes as a white belt. I think that makes sense because now you've
but
learned how to build the walls. You got a foundation. You know where the doors are. You know, it kind of makes sense to you now. So attacking something from there, you should know I'm not gonna rip or have a herky jerky reaction, or I shouldn't have a herky jerky reaction. But yeah, I think you gotta understand more of the larger part of the body versus a smaller percentage, which is it's not that it's not as effective. It's just I feel like when you can control the hips and the shoulders and the neck, you're gonna control the rest of the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
fair point.
So what do you guys think about, like, okay, so what if a certain school, and not saying that like this is how I feel about it, but what if a certain school is going to go ahead and start teaching their white and blue belts heel hooks so that they can compete in no-gi or like, whatever the competition setting is, like from day one, and another school is going to wait until like they're later on in their jiu-jitsu journey. So do you guys think that school that's not teaching those moves is doing a disservice to their students, or how do you guys feel about that?
Yes and no, because I think it's on, because think about it, right? If you're competing gi, right? And usually it's going to be gi, like you just said it. It's going to be a school that does mostly no gi, that's going to teach from early on. And they should, because they do that and they're allowed to do it from, basically forever in no gi competitions. Whereas in, we were talking about before, in most gi competitions, you can't do a lot of these heel hooks or certain locks until like you're in upper belts. So it's like I would I think that's important too, for the student and the teacher to really express, like, depending on how you want to train and like what you want to compete at. I would say if you're doing no gi, you should know some of this stuff. And if you're doing gi, I mean, obviously you're not going to have to worry about competition. I could teach you here and every now and there, but like, I don't want you actually live rolling doing it, because you're not going to be doing it in competition anyway. You know what I mean? But I could see where your head's at with the devil's advocate thing, and I do think it's important because, you shouldn't be afraid to do it or be afraid of them. You should also know your partner. You should know yourself and your control, and your partner too, that you can trust, that's not going to rip your ankle off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think it would depend. I think it would depend on, how that professor wants to bring that into their school. And I think that depending on that approach that they take, they'll probably see varied results. Like if you say, I'm going to show all my white belts leg locks today, and then hope that, 2 weeks from now, you don't have 75% out of them out with knee injuries and ankle injuries, then great. Like if that strategy is going to work for you, that's fine. But I think that, walking
or just limping around the mats.
Yeah. And then like, okay, sorry, 80% of my students are dropping out of the competition now. I don't think that would be helpful. So I think it could go either way, right? And yeah, like Shavil's saying here,
Shabil, yeah, man, because he basically said what I was saying. I think well, he put it further because he thinks like every individual should have their perspective, but that's basically what I was saying. It's like you should know your partner and stuff like that, and basically go at your pace. You know what I mean? I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and I would just say, like, to anybody listening, right, who's like, I want to get more into leg locks, like, just know it's not the elbow, it's not the arm. Like, it's a lot easier to hurt it, and it's difficult to escape. So just be careful. That's it, right?
Yeah. So I have another question.
Be careful on the attack. Be mindful in your escapes. And there's no shame in tapping, man. You're learning the limits of your body, so better learn the limits before you get hurt than saying like, oh fuck, now I'm hurt for 3 weeks. That's a limit. I better not do that again.
So I got another question. We had shown a clip of an interview that I had with you in the school about what would you tell your white belt self?
You're on too.
So now that you've been promoted to brown belt, what would you tell your purple belt self? Your purple self. Your grimace self.
I guess honestly, it's kind of tough to think of a good answer to that question, just because I don't think of it as like a really big change between a purple and brown belt. Like I think it's like it's not that like long of a time where like I've changed a lot as a person. I definitely did develop more of a game at purple belt, so that's what I think was like a big thing for me during my purple belt is where I really developed my guard and got really good at it. So if I could give myself any advice, it would just be to like keep developing your game and don't be afraid to compete a little bit more, because then you could go out there and test it with other guys and see how it holds up. Like I did 2 competitions at purple belt, which is less for me. But obviously there was COVID and I did leave for the military for a while, or I would have wanted to do more. But if I could have told myself something, it would have been to go out there and test my game out a little bit more, because a lot of purple belt was spent like developing my game for myself and studying areas of that game. So yeah, I would just tell myself to go test the game, and it doesn't necessarily have to even be in competition because like 2020 and like all the competitions were off and stuff. But it could be from visiting other schools and seeing how it works against guys that were higher belts than myself in my gym. Just test myself more.
So,
Mhm.
you asked before. I didn't really get to respond.
Mhm.
I think I've stated it already on the show, but I haven't competed yet. Um, I've played sports, all seasons my entire life, and I've competed a lot, and I get a lot out of our training environment and competing with my teammates and whether it's smooth training or where I'm let's turn it up and I talk to people or we feel each other's energy and we go hard. I don't feel that sense of needing to compete, or I should say desire competing outside of the school. Not to say I won't visit another gym, compete there. I'm cool with that. But like I don't have
actual competition.
I don't have I don't have a fire right now because of that. Like more of my fire is to make my training partners better, make my immediate community and the people around me better, be there in any way, shape, or form for the school. I'm just not like on fire. So what's your reaction to that? What are your thoughts to that as far as like where I'm at and how I feel about that?
I don't think there is like anything wrong with that, and I think that's fucking awesome that if you do want to train and like make the guys that you're training with better, because at the end of the day, the guys from our gym that are going out there and competing, like maybe not like at the white belt level, but like even at like a blue belt level where they start to become a little bit more advanced, they're a reflection on like all the training partners in the room that are there with them, and like all the guys like you guys that are giving the guys advice and telling them to try certain moves or to train like or think a specific way. Like all the guys that are competing are a reflection on everyone in the room. And in any jiu-jitsu gym, like honestly any jiu-jitsu gym, most of the people that are there aren't going to be competing all the time. Like they might do it once or twice, but like 80-90% of the people aren't going to be competing all the time. And that's like it's okay. Like people do it for different reasons.
Like it feels for me, I feel satisfied to know that I went in there, busted my ass, and worked really hard. And not only like from a physical standpoint, but mentally connected with my teammates in a way where I know that they're working certain things and giving them the resistance. Like Shlok, I'll see, I like when you were doing more Barambolo stuff, like not that I could stop it, but at the same time, like I would think to myself, okay, I'm going to let this go because I want to see where this goes. And I know you're working it too, recently I've been doing it too. And Mauro's been doing it. There's been times where I see Mauro go to Carambola. I kind of let him start to, I mean, it's not ragdoll. Like I'm not letting my body go dead and letting him do whatever, but I see the entrance, you know what I'm saying? And I just let it happen. And so being connected with your training partners and like me helping them grow while I'm growing, like to me, that is so satisfying that I don't have this fire to compete. Like it's weird because I talk to other people that are competing and I get everything they're saying. It's just, I don't know. I just don't have that fire. Now I'm right now. I think I'm a little bit. I'm not at a weight that I'd be happy to compete at, because at I'm at like 245. Like to compete at 245, I have to now put myself in a place where I may have to go against somebody that's like 6'6". You know what I'm saying?
And like I think your weight class honestly goes up from like 205 to like almost 300 pounds. Like in some tournaments, it's just like a go. So I do think like it's important to like pick a division and then kind of stake a claim on it. And you're like, this is the one that I'm going to really concentrate on. And the one that you pick is the one where you have the best chance of winning. Like I wouldn't go up to 170 just because like, I mean, I might, like if I'm not taking it seriously, but if I don't think that I have the best chance of winning in there, like I'm not going to do that to myself. Like my build is already small for that weight class. And I know that. So I'm going to go to the one that I'm the biggest for.
What's your walking weight right now? Like, what are you like your normal weight?
So at the maximum, I can get up to like 168, and that's probably the biggest that I've ever been. And around like regular times, I'm like around 164, 165.
You feel sluggish at 168?
Not really, honestly. I feel strong.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
feel
it's
pretty strong. Yeah.
So it's usually when you're doing a lot of like strength and conditioning that you get to that.
You're walking around at 168?
No, he said like
I can
164, but
164.
Get up to 168.
Oh, damn, 164?
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
Dude, when he went away and came back, he got beefy, bro. He got
I know.
his
I know. I mean, you're bigger than me, but that's significantly bigger than me.
It's I'm still small, but like I said, like even if I'm at that weight, like it doesn't make sense for me to compete at 170 just because I could like maybe in like a few years when I'm a little older, like I'm 29, 30, then I could get up to like 185 naturally, but right now it's just impossible for me. Like I could eat all day and stuff myself and I wouldn't get over 170. So why would I compete at that weight class where guys are probably going to be cutting down from 180, 185? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think I got to be under 225. If I can get under 225, I'll be able to now be in a better range of competitors, and it's a little bit more of like a even playing field. Like I don't really feel like going up against somebody that's 290.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
and also it just makes you more confident in like. Because I really think it's important to have a good perception of control when you're going to compete. Like when you go out there, you should have like by perception of control. I mean like you should feel like you can be in control of the match from the initial grips. Like as soon as I get my grips, I feel like I should be in control. And if you're at like a major strength disadvantage, that's obviously not going to help your confidence in doing that. But if you can figure out what weight class that you like can fit yourself into based on your body type, and you already know you're strong for that weight class, then you can't really expect your competitors to be able to like have like physical attributes that can beat you, like a long reach or
right, like you
strong grips.
You want to go in there, like you said before, with intent, and if you have such a wide variety of people that you may end up facing, it's kind of like putting you at a disadvantage compared to pretty much everyone else that is competing.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, and that's honestly like why they have weight classes too.
Right.
Like it's just you could be put at a big disadvantage if that happens. And I think a lot of like I'm not sure because not a lot of guys talk about it. That like guys from bigger gyms, like they don't really talk about it. But I'm pretty sure that guys are selective about which weight classes that they choose to compete in. And sometimes when they stop having success in certain weight classes, they'll move up and down. And
Of course,
you see it in wrestling and you see it in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you see that in UFC,
all combat sports, man.
Bellator everywhere. Yeah.
So we've asked you a lot of questions, Shloke.
I got like 10 more, okay? So just bear with us.
It's only one more hour.
I know these guys want me
and
to
then we're
wrap.
done.
I know these guys want me to wrap, but I definitely have two questions here that I want to ask you. The first one is me as a blue belt and aspiring to get to purple. What is some good tips here for my journey?
I guess like the one tip that I'd give you is just watch as much jiu-jitsu as you can And so like, yeah, one, watch as much jiu-jitsu as you can. Two, find a guy that's similar to you, like a competitor or just anyone, like, yeah, I guess I'd say like a competitor that's similar to
Rival.
you. That, yeah, not really a rival, but like someone to look up to
A
that
nemesis,
plays, yeah,
Friend
that
rival.
a frenemy.
even at the black belt level, like someone that plays a game that you think is dope, you like it, and then study their game, and then start working on it,
Developing
and
game,
then
bro.
develop your game. Like, and you could, and that's that. I like watching other guys that I aspire to be like. I get excited when I watch them, and that's kind of what keeps my head in it.
Yeah, think
So-
about things that you kind of do that are in the realm of what you're in positionally, and then just be like, I like doing that. I'm going to study that. I'm going to go for that more. That's what you should be
Mhm.
doing. You should be actually trying to execute more things that you want to do that you think are cool. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you're going to have some passion and drive in like your game. So you're going to have to like want to learn stuff that you know, A, you can do, and two, that you like to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm. So finding
I
like
said that
similar
word.
game plans out there, and then like focusing and studying on those attributes and those keynotes that you're seeing from those competitors,
Mhm.
executing what you want to execute.
Yeah, man. Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome.
100%.
Awesome. So my last question, gentlemen.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys have any more, but my last question is, what are your goals now moving forward?
Just I'm really concentrated on improving my jiu-jitsu on the next 2 months. I'm going to take off from like competing. I'm not going to be doing any competitions, but I am doing a new strength and conditioning routine, and it's interesting because like the routine was programmed by strength and conditioning specialists specifically for jiu-jitsu. And the strength and conditioning specialists that program these workouts, they have like all the same certifications and degrees that I'm actually studying to get in college right now. So again, like it's like a form of me like looking up to someone. And like I know it's proven, it's like scientific. So I'm gonna spend the next 2 months working like these jiu-jitsu specific workouts to try to improve my performance, and then I want to do some competitions for myself. I want to do some local competitions. I've been talking to Radji, and we also want to travel, like him, me, and I want to bring other guys from the gym as well, and we want to do some major IBJJF competitions as well, because it's a step up from the level of like competitions that you get at like the local competitions. So that's next for me.
Nice. Are you doing any kind of quantitative record keeping of this journey?
Yeah, actually.
You are.
Yeah, I'll show you guys. It's kind of interesting, and it's like kind of geeky, but I pretty much I bought like a series of like leather bound like notebooks, like little ones, like, and I'm kind of like journaling in it,
That's awesome.
and I'm
Look at
listing like the
Kristen, man. We're
workouts
all
that I'm
geeky,
doing.
bro.
Yeah, and I'm listing like the workouts that I'm doing and like the weights and like how they're going up, and like weekly, like I'm writing down like the thoughts that I'm having while I'm working out. And I'm kind of recording it all because I'd like to have that shit like 20 years down the line, and like looking back at it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
good to use because it's a point to reflect on,
Yeah,
It's like,
essentially, I'm just doing like a case study on myself. So
Yeah,
it's cool.
that's awesome. And I mean, that's the reason why I ask, because I think that the quantitative record keeping is really awesome, especially when you go throughout a timeline, and that's something you can look back on. And the reason why I ask is if maybe it's cool, we'll check in on you every now and then if you actually have data sets that we can pull up on the screen and be like, where is Schloke this month? And be like,
Cool.
oh shit, he's doing fucking 1,000 more sit-ups than he was yesterday. That's amazing progress.
Cool. Yeah, I'm starting very small. Like I'm like the first week I started even lower than what would be like a challenge to me, just to like let my body acclimate, because it's a lot of workouts that I haven't done before.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting my body acclimate. I do have like a whole gym set up in my basement, which makes it a lot easier. So if I want to lift at like 10 p.m., I can just go down there and do it, which is nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I'm letting my body acclimate.
Dude. That's good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think anybody taking the time to reflect and and spend time game planning is, I mean, that's going to help you alone in not just jiu-jitsu, in life. If you can, honestly,
You got to know the score.
yeah, exactly.
And if you don't write the score down, you don't know the score. So that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can try to be like, oh, I guess I'm a little better than I was last month. Maybe you are, but you don't really know unless you're documenting.
And your memory's not 100% proof, you know.
Memory's
and
the
like,
worst, bro. That's why eyewitness.
don't go by your own account, bro.
I'm not going by my account. Eyewitness testimony is not considered a reliable source in court, and that's the reason why.
Hit the
Because
button.
eyewitness testimony is like bullshit.
I want the
100%. Yeah, 100%.
It's so low. We'll play it later.
man.
No, well, dude, that was awesome.
Cool. Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for spending the time with us.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you offered a ton of amazing insight to all of our listeners, beginner and advanced alike. You know, it's been our pleasure to be your training partner since you started at jiu-jitsu.
Shloke, you inspire me.
Yeah,
man.
100%.
Sure.
Guys. Mhm.
Congrats on your sweeping
thank you,
victory in the
guys.
competition this past month. Congrats on your promotion. You know, we're honored to be your training partners. We're happy that you're part of our school, and thank you so much for doing this interview with us on this podcast. Hopefully, you'll be a return guest. I mean, it was amazing. Basically, you took the whole hour and a half. You filled it with content for us, so it was very easy for us. We love that. You know.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks again so much for coming on, bro.
No, but all joking aside,
Thank you,
man,
guys. Yeah.
and you know, you
Thanks,
sounded
brother.
great. Your answers are articulate, and we'd love to have you back again soon. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us, bro.
Cheers, man.
Thank you, guys. I love you guys. I love what you guys are doing,
I
by the way.
Love you, bro.
This is
Cheers,
empty.
man.
Now I'm probably going to go get another one. So
Yeah, thanks,
see you guys
man.
later.
Go get
Thank
another
you,
one, bro.
guys.
We'll see you
I
soon.
love what you guys are fucking doing, man. Keep
Thanks so
fucking
much. It
doing
means a lot,
you know?
man. Coming
Thanks,
from you,
bro.
dude.
It
Yeah,
means a
man.
lot.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Awesome.
man. Adapter gets
Later, guys.
Later, bro.
Adapter gets out. Later, guys. Take it.
awesome.
Like that.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean it was a little too soon.
God, you killed Shloke. No, you killed. We all go. No. Over this. Over this.
No, yeah, awesome. Elijah, amazing interview. Great questions that you put together. Everyone, we had an amazing level of engagement tonight. Thank you so much for your live comments. It was awesome. I couldn't even keep up with keeping them all on screen. I tried to, you know, feature all of you.
Will roll. What up,
Yeah.
bro?
Will roll.
I don't see anybody. I don't see any of you guys. I'm sorry, man.
We try to feature most of your comments as you're coming, but tonight it was so fast and so rapid fire that we couldn't even get them all up on the screen.
Eddie, Jack wants to know who you got.
Real
Tonight?
quick, last
Yeah.
thing.
Luke.
What do you got?
man. Luke, bro. Dude, Darce choke.
I think Adaptive's
Darce
going. Yeah, I'm also choosing Luke.
Luke on a Darce choke. You're
Mhm.
calling it. Oh, nice. All right.
What round?
Oh, fuck that. Jack, what round?
You have to choose a round.
Yeah, Jack, you could choose the round.
He could choose the round.
Jack's
Jack, you
going to
gotta
choose a round. You have 30 seconds to choose a round. Otherwise, we're getting ready to wrap up. Thank you guys so
Second
much for joining us at the Adaptive Podcast, episode 13. It's been 13 amazing weeks, and because of your love and support is why we are able to do this
Love you guys.
week in and week out here at El Studio D Eli. We do it every single week. The podcast is, of course, brought to you by Radji Barrett Jiu-Jitsu Academy. If you're cool, you can train here. Please check him out at RadjiBarrettJiu-Jitsu.com and at Radji Barrett Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram. Also, check us out on Instagram. We work really hard to curate videos together. We show you our training. We give you little previews. We try to make cool little edits and transitions to make our Instagram suck red brew, make it very interesting for you. We have amazing new rash guards patches at the website adaptivejujitsu.com. And for anybody who got legacy gear from us and who ordered some of our original stuff, we did send you a promo code to get a free 10-inch patch from us. If you did not receive that and you did purchase an original rash guard, please let us know. Or if you did buy both before we came up with the promo, please partner with us and we will offer you some other sort of concession. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. It's been an amazing week. We love you. This has been the Adaptive Podcast, episode 13.
Good night, everybody.
Here with Elijah and Ed, and we are wishing you a great night,
guys.
and we will see you again
Enjoy the fights.
next week. Enjoy the fights.
I got a shit.
Hey, who needs to take a shit?
I'll give you one guess. Who needs to shit this week? That was a good show.
Very nice.
Fucking Schlo killed it. Schlo killed it.
Nice.